up, y'all? Welcome back to Through the Dust. As you can see, it's raining, and so not really too much through the dust today, more like through the rain. But so we're out here riding, and Andrea's kind of getting her feel for riding, in some washouts and stuff like that. And I keep telling her, just follow me, just follow the line that I take. Go, just watch what I do, and just mimic that. Just go that way, and that's kind of what I want to talk about today, because it's a lot like what Jesus said in John 12:26. Jesus says, follow me. Follow me. And he says that actually a lot throughout the Gospels. Follow me. Do what you see me do. A lot of times we see that command and we say, okay, but then we don't do the other thing that he told us to do, which was to abide in him. So what happens is, a lot of times, is we will attempt to want to pour out into the world, to pour out into people, to pour out in ministry, and just, really be the salt and really be the light. But we can get so caught up in that we don't realize it in a moment that we're not following anymore. Meaning that a lot of times, as a pastor, I can get so busy with ministry that I don't spend as much time in prayer as I was. That I'm not spending as much time just sitting in the Word and studying as I was. And then on top of that, the busyness and the stress of ministry causes me to maybe start thinking about myself or getting frustrated with people or frustrated with myself. And all in all, basically at the end of the day, I'm running on empty, I guess is one way to put it. I'm just absolutely running on empty, because in the midst of pouring out, I haven't been stopping and following him and allowing him to pour into me. I've committed to him for the journey, but then along the way, stopping along the way doing, and look up and Jesus is, he's out of sight, So there's a balance there that I can't expect to pour out into my wife or my kids or the church or the total stranger in the street if I'm neglecting my relationship with him in that sense. If I'm not allowing myself to be transformed and ministered to by Jesus as I walk, then when I come into a situation where I need to minister, and especially when it's a situation that I'm not really familiar with, there's always a temptation of the flesh wanting to take over in those times. So this is just kind of a quick word of advice here, is in your serving the Lord, you're doing a good thing, but don't neglect that pouring in process as well. Follow him. Stay with him. You know what I mean? Make sure that your prayer is not being sacrificed, your time in the Word is not being sacrificed, that your overall healthy perspective, which is what we talked about last week, that my humility is not starting to look more like humiliation, and just making sure because this is what I tell people all the time, there's time. You have time. You always have time to stop and spend some time in prayer. You have time to stop and study. There's nothing wrong with putting something off for just a little bit to give you the time to recharge and refocus and recenter with Christ. You have time to do that. So yeah, follow him. Follow him, but also abide in him as you're doing it. Because Jesus said, if you remain in me, apart from me, you can do nothing. So just keep those words at heart, guys. Keep that, take it one step at a time. We're going to get back on the trail and see if we can get out of this rain. But we'll see you guys next week.